Good morning, students. Today we are going to start Economics Chapter 1, Development. In this chapter, we will try to understand that people have different aspirations and wants. And there are many ways where we can arrive at common indicators of development for common people, for the whole society, as well as the nation. When we talk about development, the meaning of development involves a complex thinking about many different issues. What is this complex development? It means that this complex thinking means that whether we want the development of a particular person, of a country, of a nation, and everywhere. Now, development, it's a very wider term. It exactly means for progress. And when we talk about progress, anything that can grow will be development. But here, when we come up with a different aspect, what is development and what is growth? They may be two different terms. When two different terms come across, we can see that development and growth may be something different. So here we see the difference between development and growth. Now, growth can be said as when some materialistic things grow, like a child also grows. He may grow bigger, longer. Yes, and there are increase in numbers of some items. Some things may grow. Yes, in that manner, it is growth, where the product, materialistic things, they grow. That is growth. When development takes place, immaterialistic things grow. Like when a small infant takes a walk, his first walk, he learns to walk, then development takes place. He thinks that he has done something very new. When a poor farmer who's actually not able to feed his family, he is able to do that, increase crops, then we say that development has occurred. So here we are taking two small terms, two small examples of increasing in the growth of immaterialistic things, which cannot be exactly calculated in materialistic terms or in figures. Then we can say development takes place. Now, this we can deeply understand with the table 1.1. When we see towards the table of 1.1, there are different categories of personal goals being discussed. And in this table, we have landless rural laborers, prosperous farmers from Punjab, and farmers who depend on rain for growing crops, and several. We can see a chart in table 1.1. On page 4, this table is given. You can see this table. On this table, what do we see? We see that the laborers or rural laborers and landless people, what do they actually aspire? They think that they should get better wages, better work, more days of work. They should get the children should get proper quality education, and they should be able to feed their families. There should be no discrimination. In the same way, every person, every child, every individual, they may think of some or the other aspiration, needs, wants, what they think as their goals of life. Now, similarly, a rural woman from a landowning family, what will she think? In the landowning family, she may aspire that she should have some rights, she should be able to go out, she should be able to take decisions. All these things we will try to fill this table. This table is incomplete. So we will try to fill this table as we learn more about development. Now, according to this, we are going to discuss. So, what do we conclude? We conclude that growth may be similar for all, but when in case of development, it may be different for different people, country, circumstances, etc. This we can understand with examples. Now, we see the example on this, that is table 1.1 only. The second last example, a girl from a rich urban family. Now, when this girl from the rich urban family, she aspire that in a family, what happens? Suppose there are brothers and sisters, both are there in that family. Now, the brother may be allowed to go out and not asked to work at home, like helping mother, like what the girl is asked to in her day-to-day course. And he may be allowed to go out to buy articles from the market or to do other work. This may be in the family structure. This is what a common, that is common family, these things they have. They don't allow their girls to go out much. They only ask them to work at home. So what does the girl aspire? The girl may aspire that she may get more freedom as her brother is getting, and she may be able to decide what to do in life, and she may also be able to pursue her studies abroad, which many families which do not allow. So all these things may be a demand or aspiration of a girl. Whereas we see the second example when we see in this whole thing, the second example will be an Adivasi from Narmada Valley. Now we all have discussed about Narmada Valley, where the dams are being created. The people who live near the that is the dam, they had to dislocate themselves. They had to leave the place and go away. Yes. So what does a Narmada Valley Adivasi poor villager will aspire? He may aspire that dams should not be built so that the poor villagers have to displace and leave their homes. But if we look into this, now we look into these examples, then we will see that the Adivasi will aspire that dams shouldn't be built. But why are dams built? Dams are built for more electricity. And where are these electricity? Where is these electricity going? This is going to big industries. So what does the big industrialist aspire? They may aspire that more dams should occur. So here we see that these examples may be goals for some, but may not be goals for the others. So there is a conclusion that, what do we conclude here? We conclude there are two aspects or three aspects coming which may be acting as the principles of development. Different people will have different developmental goals. Next, what may be development for one may not be for other. Like suppose the boy thinks that his development is when he gets freedom, but the girl thinks that his development is only when she is allowed the same as the boys. The boy may think that the girl's freedom should not be provided. So here, if the girl is given the freedom, the boy's aspiration is not met. And if the boy is given the, that is, the girl is given the, in the other way, if the boy is given his aspirations are met, the girl's freedom is not given. So what do we see? In the same manner, if an Adivasi gets his freedom, gets its aspiration that the dams are not built, then the industrialists get affected. They do not get electricity. In the same manner, if the industrialist aspirations are met and dams are built, then the Adivasis have to leave their homes. So these are all called conflicting goals. And in these conflicting goals, they may act as a goal for one, and they also act as destruction or non-development for the other. Apart from these, when we look into one more thing that we look into, we would like to look into that. How do we compare these goals? How do we find out what these goals are and what do we need for these goals? When we take care of these goals again, then we will see that farmer needs wages, industrialists need electricity to produce more. He will be able to sell more and then earn more money. A person who doesn't have a job, when he gets a job, he can get more wages. In the other way, whether we are tackling into one case or the other, everywhere there is one form, that is income. Income should be, if we take into countries also, the countries which have more income are said to be more developed, whereas the countries which has less income are said to be less developed. So income is one of the most important factor which helps in comparing goals of people. Most of the people have their goals as earning more and more income. Now, this is very important, I understand, but there is one circumstance that can we say that only earning income is important? No. Only money or materialistic things that one can buy can be one factor which is important for people, but it will not be the only factor which is important. There are other things which people need to think about, they need to work on, they need to get those things, and they need to take those aspects also important when they want their goals to be covered. Now, other goals are self-respect, security, freedom, friendship, pollution-free environment. Now, these also are very, very important. Now, look at ourselves. When we see ourselves in our classroom, then we see that we all have friends. Now, let us talk about friends. When we have friends, we like to sit with our friends, we like to talk with our friends, and we also like to be all the time with our friends. Suppose you come to the class and you do not have anyone to talk to and you have no friends, then would you like to come and sit in that classroom? I think the answer will be a no. So that means here money is not important whether you are able to earn money or not, but it's things that if other things are also there, suppose a person is not free to work and do whatever he wants and he may be getting more money, but for some days he will be able to work, but after some days he will not be able to work for more money also if he doesn't have freedom. Similarly, if his family security is at stake, or suppose his self-respect is at stake, for few days he will be able to work for money, but all the time he will not be able to work for money. So we see here that other goals are also very, very important, and when development takes place, development is not looking for one single goal, but it looks people towards a mix of goals, and if these goals are taken care of, then development takes place for an individual in a society. We will consider one example in this case, that if a woman in the house is getting dignity, and when she is there in the house, she is working for the house, but she is not getting any money for the work. But if dignity is given, then she works for that house even if money is not given. But in other case, when she goes out to work also, and even if she is getting money, but there, if she is not getting proper dignity, if she is not getting proper environment, then for some purpose or the other, if she doesn't get a safe environment to work also, she will not be able to work for money for a longer period of time, or for some time also to take up that work. She has to leave the work. Is that clear? So students, this is the part 1 for development. We will be taking up this chapter further. Thank you.